So, part 2 of 2, the coordinates for the unit circle, to slow down and see these values a little bit better. So, a few things to remember. First, the radius is always equal to 1 in the unit circle. And that is why if I think here of my center as my origin at 0, 0, the point on the circle directly to the right would just be 1, 0, and up would be 0, 1, and then left would be -1, 0, and down below would be 0, -1. So those are obviously the easier ones. The other values come from special right triangles. And so if we recognize that our coordinates are the cosine of the angle divided by the sine of the angle. So that's essentially my XY coordinate. When I think of my special right triangle here, up and down and back over, this is a 45, 45, 90 triangle, which means it's an isosceles right triangle. These values are the same. And that 45 would be my angle at the origin, essentially. The way that these are found is that instead of A, B, and C, because they're equal, they're both called A. And then we can use the Pythagorean theorem to prove that the hypotenuse will always be equal to A square roots of 2. So if I have to go right and then up, that creates my coordinates here. Well, my hypotenuse has to be equal to 1 because it's a unit circle. And so if I solve for A by dividing by the square root of 2, A is 1 divided by the square root of 2. Well, we don't leave it in that form. We do something called rationalizing the denominator. And so it gets multiplied by the square root of 2 over itself. So 1 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 2. And then the square root of 2 times itself simplifies to just 2. So whether you think of that as the square root of 2 squared or the square root of 4. So I'm essentially saying now that this distance along the x-axis, I'm going to go right A units or square root of 2 over 2, and I'm going to go up the same exact distance. So this coordinate is the square root of 2 over 2 for both x and y, since it's an isosceles right triangle. If you imagine reflecting that over the axis to creating my triangle here, the same exact thing has happened except I went left. And so it's negative square roots of 2 over 2 and positive square roots of 2 over 2. If I continue flipping, it's always going to be this middle one, and just paying attention to what my signs would be. So down here in quadrant 3, they're all negatives. And then when I flip back over and think of quadrant 4, that's a positive x and a negative y. So when I look at my unit circle that has all of my angle measures here, whether I'm looking at degrees or I'm looking at radians, I can tell you that the x coordinate is going to be the cosine of that particular angle. So in quadrant 1, it's 45 degrees or pi over 4. The cosine of 45 degrees would be the square root of 2 over 2. Or if you were in radian mode, the cosine of pi over 4 would be the square root of 2 over 2. Sine is the same. So the only difference here is that the positives or negatives change. And just think in terms of x and y if you go left, right, up or down. The next triangle, and it actually fits in 2 different ways, is my 30, 60, 90. So if I look here instead, and I think of this as like the long triangle with the shorter height, that is my 30, 60, 90. I don't know what shape it thought it was automatically. That's better. So my 30, 60, 90, if I look at my 30 degrees for my short side, the rule here is that my short side is the length B, and that B square roots of 3 is my middle side, the one across from the 60-degree angle, and my hypotenuse is twice my shortest side. And so again, if my hypotenuse is equal to 1, because the radius of the unit circle is 1, then B is 1 over 2, or 1/2. And so I have 1/2 for this particular height, and then I have 1/2 times the square root of 3, which is the same thing as the square root of 3 over 2 for my longer side. So if I went right square roots of 3 over 2 and up 1/2, then my coordinates are the square root of 3 over 2, comma 1/2. I can do the same thing with my reflections first. So if I go off to my left, it is still, I had to go farther left than I did up. And the square root of 3 over 2 is a bigger number than 1/2 is. If I went left and then down, it's the same thing. I'm going farther left than I am down, and they both just happen to be negative here. If I look in my fourth quadrant, I have a positive square roots of 3 over 2, but I had to go down, and so that is a negative 1/2. That takes care of almost all of my points. The point that I don't have included is my 60 degrees, which is basically just rotating that triangle. So if I look here at the green one, this is really, this is really taking my 60, or my 30, 60, 90 that I already did, and just rotating it. And so now I'm going across my shorter side, which would be the 1/2, but I'm going up my longer height, which is my square root of 3 over 2. So now my x coordinate and my y coordinate is my square root of 3 over 2. If I do my same reflections, I went left, so I have to make my 1/2 negative. Square root of 3 over 2 stays positive. If I flip all the way down here, then I have gone left 1/2 and down square roots of 3 over 2. And my final flip is that I went right 1/2 and down square roots of 3 over 2. So if you then look at these to look for a pattern in these numbers, first, my 0, 1, and -1 should be easy enough to work out. Otherwise, everything is divided by 2. Every single one of them. And depending on the order that you want to travel around the circle, if I start out here, I know students that have remembered this if I look at my y coordinate. So this would be the sine of 30 degrees, or the sine of pi over 6 would be 1/2. So there's a 1, there's a square root of 2, and then there's a square root of 3, 1, 2, 3. And the other direction is going 1, 2, 3. Or if I went up, recognizing it as the 3, 2, 1. That same pattern holds the whole way through. If you pick any quadrant and either look at the x coordinates or look at the y coordinates, so either the cosines for x or the sines for y, they're going to be in the order of 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And so it is more, I think, a way of a spot check to make sure that you have all of the correct values in place, and didn't accidentally rearrange anything, more so than how I would create the triangle. But again, I have the visual of this triangle here on the right-hand side with the 30 degrees and my 60 degrees up in the top corner. And so I always think of it in terms of long side, short side. So do I have to go farther to the right than up, like at 30 degrees, or do I have to go farther up than I do left or right, like at 60 degrees. So that kind of tells me if my triangle is laying on its longer side or if it is standing up on its shorter side. So is it like a short triangle or a tall triangle? Again, just like with the degrees and radians, you have to try this on your own. And so it's not a matter of explaining the 45, 45, 90 and the 30, 60, 90. That's a throwback to at least geometry. But it is recognizing the triangle and how it fits, what values are positive or negative, and when, which again, that's just my quadrant. I have in the top right quadrant, x is positive, y is positive, and then negative, positive, 2 negatives, and then a positive, negative once I hit down into my fourth quadrant. So it is a lot of parts coming together, but it makes for a lovely picture. And it really helps when we are working through all things trig and we have to write things as exact answers. These are the common exact answers that you'll see.